do not buy the iPhone 7. Let me tell you why. Hey there, friends on YouTube, it's the JTL. I am back again today, and 2 days, if you don't count the day that it actually happens, the iPhone 7 will hit the market. If you don't know this, you probably aren't, I don't know, you've been in a cave somewhere? I don't know. One thing Apple does incredibly well is they make the hype. I was in the perfect position. I had just switched carriers, and I could wait. And because my Note 7 had to be returned, I could get the iPhone 7. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to wait and go get the iPhone 7. But then on the day you could start pre-ordering them, that was last Friday. So by the time I got to the Verizon store, the iPhone 7 Plus was back ordered to November. So I have a choice. I can either, limp through with a Moto E that I have for 2 months and wait for the iPhone 7, or I could make a different choice. And that really got me to thinking. And I've got 3 reasons why I decided to get an iPhone 6s Plus again, instead of waiting for an iPhone 7 Plus. Reason number 1 is what I just was talking about, availability. Maybe it's because the Note 7 tanked and started to explode and all those things, and that's driven up demand. I'm not exactly sure, and we probably won't know for a while, but right now, availability for the iPhone 7, especially the iPhone 7 Plus, is 2 to 3 weeks, which probably means more than 3 weeks for the iPhone 7, and up to sometime in November for the iPhone 7 Plus. And if you want to get the black color or the jet black color, you're waiting even longer. Number 2, I've made videos about this already, and I'm going to harp on it again, the headphone jack. I'm not going to argue about the fact that the headphone jack is missing. I think that ship has sailed. We all know that they got rid of the headphone jack. We all know that it's not coming back. Apple always goes in these 2 years, or this 2 iteration cycle. The iPhone 6 has some bugs, the iPhone 6 Plus bends, and a lot of other little strange things go on. It always happens with that non-S version of an iPhone. And then when the S version comes out, everything's perfected. So right now, if you ask me, going with a phone that's missing a headphone jack, and it's the first time around that anything like that has happened, you're really asking for trouble. Because yes, they're coming out with the AirPods. Yes, they got lightning earpods in there. They've got a dongle. They've got all that stuff. In a year's time, or even in 6 months' time, when the iPhone 7s comes out, 6 months from now, 8 months from now, the headphone market will be in a lot better shape to take on the challenge of lightning-only connection to the iPhone. And I'd rather not have the frustration of going through the growing pains as opposed to being there on the front lines, an early adopter, having to go through. This is where I really started to do my thinking. Because as I thought about the iPhone 7 and the 7 Plus, compared to the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus, the only thing, the real factor that was drawing me to it was the newness of it. So I just kept thinking, so it's brand new, it's shiny, it's et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But what are the real differences between the iPhone 6s and the iPhone 7? My thought is this. The iPhone 7 doesn't actually add much to the iPhone experience besides a new color and no headphone jack and some upgrades in the camera. Here's a rundown of the specs. iPhone 7, 4.7-inch 1334 by 750 resolution, 326 pixels per inch with 3D touch. That's the iPhone 7. iPhone 6s, 4.7-inch 1334 by 750 resolution at 326 ppi with 3D touch. iPhone 7, 64-bit Apple Fusion A10 chip, 6s 64-bit A9 chip. And is the iPhone 7 going to be faster? Yes. Is the iPhone 6s Plus or 6s already still one of the fastest, if not the fastest phones available on the market? Yes. I've watched several videos that benchmarked the iPhone 6s and 6s Plus against the Note 7, and in many tasks, the iPhone beat the Note 7. And the Note 7 just, blew up on the scene. See how I did that? Just less than a month ago, really. So you're not really losing anything by going with the 6S because it's still on par with the best phones on the market today. iPhone 7, iOS 10. iPhone 6S, iOS 9, option to upgrade to iOS 10. iOS 10 is what really matters in this iteration. iOS 10 is in many ways a huge upgrade from iOS 9. It adds a lot of great functionality. It feels different for the first time in quite a while. The next one, iPhone 7, 12 megapixel rear-facing camera, 7 megapixel front-facing camera. iPhone 6S, 12 megapixel rear-facing camera, 5 megapixel front-facing camera. You get 2 more megapixels on the front-facing camera, and I think it goes from 720 to 1080p resolution, which is long, long overdue, and hooray for that. There are a lot of new features in the camera in the 7 Plus. The 7 has new optics, etc., as well. But my question is, are you really gaining a ton? Because the iPhone 6 already takes, and 6S already take some of the best pictures available on the market. That's a wash. If you have to have the latest and greatest, you're not going to get that. You're not going to get the telephoto lens along with the standard lens and all that stuff unless you go to the 7 Plus. And if you go to the 7 Plus, you're waiting until November unless you got your pre-order in. iPhone 7, 1960 milliamp hour battery. iPhone 6S, 1715 milliamp hour battery. So we got about 255 more milliamp hours in the battery for the iPhone 7. That's great. Check it out. Tetris. Let's look at the last thing that I pulled here. iPhone 7 starts at 64 gigabytes, 128. No, it starts at 32, right? Yeah, 32. 32, 128, 256. The 256 only comes in the black models, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the iPhone 6S, obviously 16, 64, 128. What do you gain by going with the iPhone 7? You can get those new colors if you can ever get them, get one ordered and in stock. You get an upgraded camera. You get a slightly upgraded battery. The software is a wash. There's not enough difference between those models to really justify the $100 or $200 price premium for the 7 right now. Couple that together with the fact that we don't have a new design. It's just, the same iPhone body. Everybody gets all up in arms about the friggin' antenna lines. Who cares? If you can do without jet black, if you can do without the latest and greatest fancy camera stuff, and you want to save a little bit of money, go for the iPhone 6S and leave the 7 for another time, another place. Maybe wait for the next model or wait for the 8. That was my thought process as I was shopping. It's the availability, the fact that the 7 doesn't add enough to really justify waiting and spending more money, and the headphone jack not being there, and it being the first time that's the case. Tell me what you think down in the comments about whether or not it's worth upgrading to the iPhone 7, or if you could make do with the iPhone that you have now, or you're going in a totally different direction. I think we've had something happen here that hasn't happened before in the fact that the Note 7 has flamed out so dramatically, and that has really driven up the demand. And so now I think making this choice is a lot more difficult because of the demand issues. Like this if you like it, subscribe please, because that really helps me out. And check out my other videos on my channel because I've got a lot of other videos about tech related stuff. But until the next time, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you guys watching. This is the JTL and I'm out.